All right, let's discuss this now with Bhavani Fonseka, who's a constitutional lawyer and also a prominent human rights lawyer and activist in Sri Lanka. She's also a researcher and attorney at the Centre for Policy Alternatives. She joins us now live from Colombo. Welcome to the programme. Your reaction to these incredible scenes of the protesters storming the presidential residence, even in his swimming pool there. What goes through your mind when you see that?
I mean, it's unprecedented. I was at the protest today, and what we saw and what has been reported is unbelievable at one level. I mean, we saw tens and thousands of people coming in, protesting peacefully. They've been protesting for nearly 3 months and more, actually. And today they were able to breach both the official residence of the president and the office of the president. And just unbelievable scenes and just what has been transpiring.
Sorry to interrupt, but that word breach, how does that happen? Is that because the police and security were not there or just joined the protest too?
So they were there. I mean, in the morning when the protests were walking towards that area, there was tear gas shot at them, and there was a worry that there might be violence. But the large numbers, I think, convinced even the police and the military that, this could get very bloody, and it didn't go down that road. So we must be actually grateful that there was no violence to the point of many being injured or possible casualties. But it's also something we need to look at. These are evolving situation on the ground, but so far it has been peaceful. That's very important to recognize. But we don't know actually what's going to happen tonight, tomorrow. So these are very, very unprecedented and uncertain times in Sri Lanka.
Indeed, and as you say, so far they have been peaceful, these protests. But will the President, Rajapaksa, resign at this point right now when they even storm his home?
Well, the president has gone into hiding. That was announced when we were at the protest site. The Prime Minister has just tweeted a few minutes ago that he's willing to resign. The political party, the leadership, has met with the Speaker, and there's going to be a letter sent to both the President and the Prime Minister to resign. And there is a constitutional process that is there. If there are resignations, the Speaker can act as president till president is elected by Parliament. There are procedures in place. So there is a constitutional process for this present crisis, but we will have to see whether the President and the Prime Minister will peacefully leave, and that's to be seen.
And if they do, Bhavani, if they do peacefully leave, will that be enough to meet the demands of the protesters? Will these protests stop? So the President and the Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe.
So a key demand of the protesters have been for the President and the Prime Minister to resign. Gotabaya go home has been a key demand since March. So that will be one demand met. But the protests are not just around his resignation. It's for a system change. It's to address the suffering that people are facing at the moment. And Sri Lanka is in an unprecedented economic crisis. So a lot needs to be done to pacify the protesters. So it's unlikely the protests will end today or tomorrow when the President and the Prime Minister, if they finally resign. It's not going to be over in the next couple of days, I would say. I think they're going to want to see much more substantial changes in Sri Lanka before the protesters go home.
Bhavani, thank you very much. And just very quickly, yes or no, is the President still in Sri Lanka?
That's a good question. No one really knows. There's various reports saying he has left. Some say he's still here. We do not know for sure.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Bhavani Fonseka. Really appreciate it.